hoping we would be more than this, but I think we are good to go. So our speaker is Mary Kamore. She has been a member of LNET for a long time. I found her in LNET, and especially in the mentoring committee of LNET. She is also the director and co-founder of Olive Mentoring, an organization whose mission is to spur individuals, businesses, and organizations to optimal performance through provision of mentoring, coaching, and business advisory services. Through Olives, she has served various organizations, both corporates, SMEs, NGOs in their business and people development initiatives. For example, Equity Group Foundation, Commercial Bank of Africa, Youth Mentorship Program, International Labour Organization, Women Entrepreneurs Mentorship Program, among others. So I just want to, and there is much more I could say from her profile, but I want to believe that this is her area, and so we will be learning from somebody who has a lot of experience in mentoring. And as I said, she will mainly be talking about the qualities of a good mentor and whatever else she has prepared for today. Please note your questions and comments once she is through with her do I call it an address or what? But once she speaks to us, then you can ask any questions that you might have and make comments. So, Madam Mary Kamore, most welcome.
Thank you, Nana.
Karibu.
These are words of Zig Ziglar, who said a lot of people have gone further than they thought they could because someone else thought they could. I have personally experienced this as an individual, where I have had persons who have pushed me to go further than I ever thought I could. I am conservative naturally, and I can be laid back and imagine that other people know better or they can do better than I can. And that has sometimes made me think that I don't then need to put myself forward there, but I need to remain at the back. It has taken some people to push me and tell me, you can do this. And finally, I find myself doing things that I never thought that I could. Possibly you are such a person, or possibly the person you are mentoring is like that. These words of Zig are very strong words that says a lot of people have gone further. So there are people who you can help to go further just by a word of encouragement, or just by inspiring them, the way you live, or the way you behave, or the way you respond to particular situations in your life. So don't underestimate your role as a mentor when it comes to helping people go further. A mentor is not about power. A mentor is not about authority. A mentor is a let us quickly fix it and go. I don't know whether you've had a mentor. So my question is whether you have had one and what your experience has been. Possibly I will not be able to get that response right away. However, I do not mind someone who can just give us a very, who can just to mention whether they've had a mentor. Maybe that would help. I would love to hear whether you have had a mentor or not. Maybe you can let me know whether you've had a mentor. One person can share with me your experience with a mentor.
Yes, there's one.
Oh, thank you, Cecilia.
Mary, can you hear me?
Yes, very well. I can hear you very well. Cecilia?
I think I have had I've had a mentor for probably now this is the 5th year. She kept traveling. And I would say it's because of her that probably even my ambition and my desire to join ministry actually became a reality. Her name is Kara Makanda, and they have worked with me for quite some time now, and I would say it's because of her that my desire for joining ministry became a reality. Even though she's busy, I love the fact that every month she make a point to just meet me.
Okay, I can see that Cecilia is muted, but I got to hear her before she left, and maybe possibly we can continue. So the next thing, we have shared our experience. I like the experience Karaoke and Cecilia have shared. And one thing I have picked from them is that through the mentors, who both of them said have been very busy, they have shaped their lives in one way, or even giving them interest. Like Cecilia said, a mentor gave her the interest to join ministry. And I believe Karaoke has actually taken after his mentor, because I know Tim was the one who was heading Elnet before. Now, we are talking about qualities of a good mentor. And I would want to start by indicating that everyone is unique. And so your mentoring will be unique because you are different. No one is like another person. And so that means when you start to mentor, or I understand some of you are already mentoring, you will realize that you cannot copy the style of another mentor. Or even possibly, you will not mentor the way you are mentored, because you're unique and we are created differently. There are, however, some key characteristics and behaviors that build a foundation for good mentoring. And that is why we are going to talk about what qualities do you need as a mentor. Not because you have to do it like exactly another person. Sometimes approach is given. I have dealt with mentorship programs where we design, and I do that a lot for clients in our business, where we design mentoring programs and guide on in terms of how do you need to do it, where do you start, where do you end, which sessions do you cover, how long do you cover each session, what is the objective of each of them. All that can be done. However, true mentorship, and especially a godly approach to mentorship, you will realize that you cannot necessarily copy what another person is doing. These key characteristics and behaviors that form the foundation is what we are going to look at today as we talk about the qualities of a good mentor. The very first one, and that is not even in my 10, because I'll mention 10, is the aspect of being godly. Now, as a mentor, you should be one that reminds your mentees about Jesus, because I believe that all the people who are participating in this mentoring class, they are believers. And their desire is to mentor people to become not only ethical, but also godly people, not only successful in their different areas of life, but also people who are working with God. And so as a mentor, you then need to be the one that you are helping the mentee remember about Jesus. And how can that happen? One is where you desire to be a true disciple of Christ. That if you're going to promote the work of Christ in another person, because that is basically what you do to your mentee, then you should be pursuing the same as a goal for yourself. So that if you are targeting that young person, that young girl, that young man, or even not young, maybe just a colleague or an age mate, if you are targeting them to help them grow in their walk with the Lord, then it should be your goal as well. And so godliness in you as a mentor is a sign that you have walked the same path that your mentee wants to walk in. Now, this doesn't mean that you are perfect, because none of us is ever perfect. But it means that you have a strong desire to keep walking with the Lord and to help another person walk in the Lord as well. Now, the other way to be godly as a mentor is to be settled in God. I know we are living in times of anxiety and times of uncertainty, so that it's also very difficult to be settled. Sometimes even when you think you are settled, I like writing, and I write articles around mentorship. I write articles around entrepreneurship and leadership. And in my website, I have a blog where I upload articles for reading. And so yesterday, the one I did was about anything can change. I think I'll share with Kariuki, and then he can share with you. And in this article, I was highlighting how today there is nothing, even that seemed very strong, that seemed immovable, can't be moved and secure. Even once we thought that cannot change, we are seeing anything can change. Things can turn around in a second. And what you thought was very strong, all of a sudden becomes weak. We have seen businesses close. We have seen people lose their jobs. We have seen life become totally something we never thought of in the past. But it is very important as a believer and as a mentor that you are settled in God. And that is to have a deep company, or to have a deep interest in keeping your company with God. So your life should be secure in God, not in what is happening, unthreatened, and a source of deep joy for the mentee as well. So being settled in God as a mentor gives the mentee the confidence that I'm actually walking, or I'm being supported by a strong person in their spiritual walk with God. The other way to be godly as a mentor, or to show godliness to your mentee, is being anchored in the Bible. I made it a deliberate effort on my end that if I'm having someone I'm mentoring for a period of time, for every time we meet, we start with a few minutes of sharing the Word of God. And that helped me to realize that actually mentoring is one way that you can help your mentee to get to know God more, or to get to grow spiritually more. So it's important as a mentor that you be anchored in the Bible. Godly mentors need to be at peace with the Bible. And the last way, there could be many ways, but I highlighted 4. To be a godly mentor is to be sensitive to the Holy Spirit. Now, being tuned to the Holy Spirit, you don't only desire to live a life that pleases God, but you are also able to identify what the Lord is doing in your mentee's life. And you want to be one that can walk with a mentee to help them understand and even have a way of knowing what God is doing in their lives. And so when you're in tune with the Holy Spirit, as you pray for them, because these are not things you can do physically, as you pray, as you listen to what God is speaking to you, you can also help the mentee to identify what God is doing in their life. And so for me, that is quality number 1. And I didn't number it in my numbering, but I indicated it's very important that I cannot categorize it with the other qualities that I have mentioned, which can be taught to any other mentor. I teach business mentors, I have taught people who are mentoring youth in entrepreneurship or youth in college, but some will tell you you can possibly don't need to mention about godly mentorship, because not all these entrepreneurs are Christians, some are Muslims. So the characteristics I will mention after here, they can be taught to any mentor. But for you, as a person who is mentoring people in their Christian walk with God, this one of being godly is very important. And I look at it as characteristic number 1. Hello? Can I hear another yes? Great. So I can continue?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I will continue to characteristic number 1. Number 1 is approachability. As a mentor, it's very important that you are available and interested in mentoring the person that you have committed to mentor. I don't know how you have chosen your mentees, if you have one. I don't know whether it's a program that allocated you one, or you landed on one informally and with no plan at all. But however it happened, as long as you have committed to mentor that person, and you're looking forward to mentor that group of people that you want to support, it's very important that once you make that commitment, you are available, and you are interested. Never make a mistake of showing a mentee that they are a bother to you, or they are wasting your time, or you are sacrificing too much for them. Be interested in offering this help. So be approachable, let them feel that they can talk to you anytime. Let them feel that they can give you a call. Of course, they are usually guiding principles, and I'm sure you will, either you have not learned that, you learn in the course of time. There are those times they can't call you, or there are those times they can't just pick a phone and text you and expect a response. But all the same, be approachable, be available and interested to your mentee. The other important thing is information sharing. As a mentor, mentoring is giving, and you don't, most times you will not give resources, you will not give money, you will not give material. But in mentorship, you give information. So you are likely to have information that your mentee does not have. You could be mentoring them in their career, and you possibly have done the same thing they're interested to do in the past. So it is important that you take it upon yourself to share what you know and they do not know. You could be mentoring them to grow spiritually, and maybe you are a mature person in your spiritual or in your walk with the Lord. Then it's important that you share the information or your journey in terms of how you have grown spiritually with your mentee. And a lot of other things. You could mentoring someone who is in business, and maybe you've done a similar business in the past. Or you have not done a similar business, but you understand what happens in the business world. So sharing information is very important. And a mentor is not expected to withhold information. So it is your role to establish a pattern of mutual information exchange. Mentoring is a two-way street. So as you share information, the mentee also shares information. My experience is that you actually benefit, the two of you. There's so much you learn from your mentee, even as much as maybe they may be learning more than you're already learning. So characteristic number 2 is sharing information. Number 3 is open communication. Mentoring is a relationship, and it is a relationship where you cannot continue unless there is communication. So it's important that there is communication, honest, timely communication, and clarity in communication. Making your contact regular is very important. We are now living in times where physical communication or physical meeting or eye-to-eye or what we call face-to-face meetings may not always be possible, but try to make connection as regular as possible. Even what we are doing right now, I was able to, if I go back to my window, I can be able to see the faces of the people who have put their faces there. This is communication, and it's very important. It's different from when I did, or if I did an audio, and Karaoke just sent an audio. But you can be able to see me, and you have, you can be able to, you have an idea that that lady we saw now, she doesn't, she had a turban on the head. It was a Saturday, so I had undone my hair, so I had to tie the turban. And we are in lockdown, so we are not very keen on having nice styles of hair like usually we do. Anyway, that's by the way. So you are able to see me and tell, is this the same person I was expecting or not? Now, open communication is important in a mentoring relationship, where you sit or where you pick a call or where you pick a text or where you do whatever method of communication is available to you, but not wait until meeting comes when you talk. To keep me talking in between is very important, and being honest and being truthful with one another in the communication. Trustworthiness is another character number 4, where as a mentor, you're supposed to be trusted with information. Now, you realize that when you mentor someone, they trust you so much. By the way, people trust their mentors so much, such that they can share with you any information. Even if you're mentoring them in their studies, or you're mentoring them in their spiritual journey, or you're mentoring them in their business, whatever area, you realize that other issues that are affecting them, they will still share them with you. Some of them will disclose very sensitive information to you. And I'm sure some of you have already experienced that. Now, what you need to know as a mentor is that you then must be a trustworthy person. You must know how to uphold confidentiality so that when a mentee shares with you, you will not make a mistake of making that the best way to pass your time with your friend later in the day or with your family later in the evening. You will have to withhold that information because they trusted you with the information, they shared with you that information, and that becomes very important. I had to teach myself. I am a married person, so I am a wife, and I am a mother to children. I think that part Kariuki didn't remember to mention. We have, my husband and I, we have teenagers. Our firstborn is 17. And then we have a 14-year-old and one who turned 11 today, the last one. So it would be easier to, in the course of our discussion, possibly share with my husband what a mentee told me. But I had to teach myself that some of the information that a mentee shares with me, I cannot share even with my spouse, or I cannot share with my children as we are talking in the evening. So trustworthiness is very important, where you can be trusted with information as a mentor. Number 5 is respect. Let them know you respect their time and opinion. Acknowledge their skills and progress. It's important that you respect the mentee, even if they are not paying for it. I told you I've done different forms of mentorship where I've been paid for it and others who have not even been paid. But it's important that you respect the mentee as long as you have committed to mentor that person. Respect their opinions, respect their time. Let them not be the one to be waiting for you for a whole 1 hour. But then you expect them to understand because you are busy, then you can be late. But if they are late, then you can't understand because they are the mentee. No, we said mentoring is not power. So respect their time. When you agree you are meeting at a certain time, then keep that time. If there's going to be any change, let them know in good time. Don't change a meeting 1 hour to the meeting time when they had already planned and all their day's activities because of that meeting. That is respecting their time. Respect their opinion. They will come up. Mentoring is not feeding someone with your knowledge and with your opinions and with your ideas. It is about helping them to discover what they know because they know a lot. So it's you helping them to discover the potential in them by helping them to dig out that which they thought they don't know, but they actually do. So it's not about you just giving your opinion, just giving your knowledge and skills. You know, I know this, it has been like this. This is my experience. All that's good, but respect their opinion and acknowledge their skills and that they know a lot. I want to know whether we are still together. Are we still together?
Yes, we are.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. So I have 5 more. I had 10 points. So the point number 6 is appropriate feedback. Let them know how you feel in a gentle and respectful manner. Even when you may sometimes, because it can happen, and I know it has happened in the mentoring programs I have been involved in, where a mentor gets to a point where they feel this mentee is not serious, this mentee does not respect me, this mentee does not respect my time, and so forth. Or they are not taking my advice seriously and all that. It's important that you give feedback in a gentle and respectful manner. Do not shout at them. Do not just abandon them. Do not just refuse to take their calls or just refuse to turn up, but give feedback. Timely, assertive, empathic, and honest communication is very important. So it's important that you are honest in your communication and in your feedback. Do not withhold feedback because you don't want to offend them, but give that feedback in a way that it helps and make it timely. Don't wait until it is too late to say, you know, I wanted to tell you this from the first meeting, that I don't like the way you talk to me, or I don't like the way you text me in the middle of the night, or I don't like the way you know, and all that. Be timely, tell it in time, and be assertive, and be empathetic with them and honest. Technical expertise, Remain up to date and current with your knowledge. Now, this possibly may sound a bit misleading, but what this means is that as a mentor, it's very important that after a mentee has walked with you a certain journey, there is a change. If they were at point A when they started their journey of life with you in terms of their spiritual growth, then by the end of that certain time of mentorship, they should be at another point, B or C. If they were at point A in terms of how they manage their lives, they manage their finances, how they manage their time, how they manage their relationships and so forth, then by the time you are through with their journey with them, they should be at another point where they have grown positively. They have become better. Now, as a mentor, it's because there is something you have contributed towards their life as a mentor. And this is where technical expertise come in. I don't mean you have to be an expert for you to mentor someone, but you must desire to know more. You must desire to have a good understanding of your area, so that if you want to mentor someone in their relationships, then are you up to date on matters of how they can handle their relationship? If you're mentoring them in their career, are you up to date on what is current about career? Can you be able to advise them on what courses they can take that are likely to give them a better career in the future? If you are mentoring them in the area of business, are you up to date with what is happening in business today? So that even as you are advising them, you are leading them to where they are likely to get help or where they are likely to get better. So you would need to seek to know better, to understand your area more, so that you can help this person understand. I like mentoring people more. My areas of interest are entrepreneurship, leadership, and women. Now, by entrepreneurship, it's because that has been a background for me for a long time, and appreciating that we have we have high levels of unemployment in our country, and of course not only in our country, but even in Africa. And the levels of unemployment among young people is very high. So my main area in my life and at work has been to empower people where they can be able to understand that if being an entrepreneur is godly, and you don't have to wait for a job that may never come, because we don't have jobs, and you all know that we have very few jobs. They can only accommodate a small percentage of all the people who are looking for a job. Any time when we graduate young people from universities, if we graduate 1,000 of them, for example, only about 25 of them that will get, if we graduate 100, only about 25 of them will get jobs in the formal sector. 75 of them will have to go out and hustle. They do their businesses, small businesses here and there. And so doing business is godly because you create a job for yourself, you create a job for others. And so for me, entrepreneurship and mentoring people in that area, I've seen it as a way of helping people realize that they can create a solution in their lives. And so in my mentoring, I have always decided to understand more about entrepreneurship and how people can take advantage of the situation around. So I read more about that. I've done a lot of courses around that area on how to mentor people in the area of business and the area of entrepreneurship, on how you can do all those skills that they require. So when I'm mentoring somebody, then I give them up-to-date information. And I'm also able to add a skill to them that they do not have. Why I'm saying this is because if you desire to mentor, make sure you know something that the mentee does not know, that you can be able to share with them so that you can make their life better. Number 8 is being supportive. Work on being motivating, encouraging, positive, and empowering. What I would want to tell you, in the times we are living in, you realize that people are tending to get to feel very hopeless. I was reading an article the other day about how one can get to know that they are getting to the point of mental breakdown. Now, possibly some of you, or a few, or one or two people here, could have gotten to a point where you feel like you are almost getting to a point of mental breakdown. And it's very possible today, because there is so much unexpected that is happening today. You can lose your job unexpectedly, and maybe some of you have already lost. You can shut down your business unexpectedly. You can lose a relationship in an unplanned way, or you can even lose a loved one, in many ways, or your family can be affected in one way, or a disease can come and strike either you or your parents or your relatives. So there's so much going on, so that people today, Ted, they are getting to get discouraged and get to lose hope very quickly. And so you may realize that the person you are mentoring, all they require is someone to tell them it will be well. Is someone to tell them it's okay. I went through this and I overcame. So you can also be able to overcome. It's someone to tell them, please don't give up. Just when you're about to give up is when you're about to succeed. It's someone to tell them no temptation that can come to you that is not common to man. And when you are tempted, God is able to provide a way so that you can stand up right under it. Someone to just remind them that God is there. When this you all know about I can't breathe. I'm sure it is becoming a hashtag now. So when the judge, that video that I can't even complete watching because it's very painful for me as a mother, especially when he called his mama. And I have a cousin who lives in Minnesota, and he's a pastor there. So when I contacted him, he's actually the one who sent me the video, and then we were talking on Messenger, on WhatsApp. And so I was asking him exactly what is this, because some of the white, I also have American friends. So one of the American one fled, the white ones told me that video is edited. It is they are not showing the whole story. The man could have received. He was basically trying to support the police, what he was saying, and saying, until we know the truth, we cannot say that the police was wrong, because they have edited that video and then sent it on social media, and everyone is now lynching the police. So I then turned to my cousin, and my cousin told me, they have been living in fear because the discrimination against the people of color in America is very high, and especially in some states like Minnesota. And even being a pastor, he sounded like what is going on, because even now the protests are still very high. And I remember just lighting a few words of encouragement to him from Psalms 46. And I told him, my prayer for you and your family is in Psalms 46, that the Lord is my refuge and my strength. Therefore I will not be afraid. And he responded and said, I am a pastor, yes, but I think I was feeling so down that your words have given me such an encouragement. And what I'm trying to tell you as a mentor is that never shy away from encouraging the person you're mentoring. You may never know, they just need a word. Be there when they are going through a hard time. Be there when they are feeling like they want to give up. Be supportive. That is the point you want to pass on. Number 9, and the second from the last, is commitment. In mentoring, you have to invest enough time in the relationship and mentor regularly. You will realize, I can tell you, mentoring is time consuming. Mentoring is also a sacrifice, because most of the times, and I'm sure for most of you it is the case, you might not be paid to mentor. And I don't think anyone can pay a mentor in that case, because the input into it can hardly be paid. There are people who will do it as a job. I do it as a consultancy, like Kariuki mentioned that I have done for ILO, I have done for CBA, I've done for Equity Group Foundation. But that I do it as a consultancy, helping to design the mentorship program and train the mentors and learn the program. But the real mentorship, where you inspire another and help them to grow, to become what God created them to become, it is likely that you will not get someone to pay you. I have several people that I mentor and they will not have to pay me. So, but commitment is very important. You would have to invest time, enough of it, so that every week I have so and so who I meet for 1 hour, so that I can engage them on their life. And you structure it where you say, when we meet, this is what we talk about. And you also indicate what you want to see at the end of the relationship. And I'm sure Kariuki will be guiding on that, if possibly it's not already done, where it's not just a blind mentorship, but it is mentoring that is intended to produce results. And that's why it's important that it is guided by either a structure or a guide that helps you to know, how do we do it? What do we talk when we meet? How do we make sure that we get the results? But commitment in terms of time, You are thinking because you have to really plan and think, what then? If tomorrow I'm meeting my mentee, what are we going to talk about? So you have to plan. You'll not just wake up and say, today I'm mentoring so and so, but you'll need to plan for it. You'll even need to get information, to put information together, depending on what you're mentoring them about. You'll even need to research, depending on what you need to mentor them about, and even get to be up to date, like I said earlier. Lastly, is desire to help. You can hardly mentor if you're not genuinely interested in helping someone else. And what I mean, friends, here is that genuine interest to help someone else, where it's very sacrificial. They may be doing much better than you. Possibly you are helping them to grow in their career. And then they grow and become even much better than you are. That should be your joy, without any promise of help in return. You do not tell them, by the way, nilikusaidia hapa. You need to pay me back. It's not brokerage. It's not a consultancy. It's where you are genuinely interested in helping the person to grow, and they will not even pay you back. That is the joy of mentorship. So the desire to help must be genuine for you as a mentor. And so for the 10, there could be many more. If you look around, you can find many more. But those 10 for me, and remember I started with the one that I didn't number, which was being godly. The 10 of them, being approachable, information sharing, open communication, trustworthiness, respect, appropriate feedback, technical expertise, being supportive, commitment, and desire to help. All those are very important for you to have a mentor. Now, you may not have all of them, and that is why we have this lesson, to help us realize that we don't have everything. I don't think I have all of them either. But it also helps you to know where you are weak or which area you may not be strong. And where you are not strong in all the ones I have mentioned and more, it is the reason why you need to seek to fill that gap. By seeking to know more, you can get more knowledge, looking for people who can help you, because as a mentor, you also need a mentor. I have had a mentor for a long time, constantly, because I realized I can't claim to mentor other people if I'm not getting someone who is also challenging me as a mentor. So that's why you also decide to have a mentor who can keep inputting into you so that you can be able to input into another person. Also to pray, asking God to give you what you don't have, because mentoring it cannot be achieved with our physical capacity. We need God's presence and strength to be able to mentor. So also to pray that God may give you what you don't have. And of course, I thank God for Karaoke and Elnet that they are thinking about this training, which can help you get more knowledge and more skills on what to do. And so all the qualities I've mentioned, they help the mentee know that they are valuable enough for you to spend time with, that you'll be honest with them, that you are engaged and supportive of their development. And remember that mentoring is a two-way street. So both mentor and the mentee benefit from the relationship. There's long life relationship and there's mutual growth. So that's the end. I know I have taken a little bit more time. I hope I still have you take this session back to Karaoke.
Wow, thank you very much. I have put my video on because of the degree of open communication. People can see me as I see them. But I must say that this is a very opener. Those things are really going to help me as a mentor. Yeah. So allow me to give this opportunity. We started a bit late, so allow us to go for another 8 minutes maximum, up to 6:15. Let me give people this opportunity to respond to the message, to ask a question, make a comment, and all that. Yeah, for me, it is very insightful. When you're doing that, please put on your video, at least we see you. I would wish that people would volunteer themselves to say something.
I can also see the messages, karaoke. I think I can see messages, which is the feedback, which one can also write a text if they are having a challenge asking on audio.
I can say something. This is Angela. Just want to say thank you very much for those very insightful points that you shared with us. I have a question on how do you differentiate between mentoring and coaching?
Thank you, Adela. I got your question. How do you differentiate between mentoring and coaching? I will take note of that, and if there's another one, I will take as well, so that I can answer maybe one or two together, 2 or 3 together. Okay.
My question is, how do you deal with the challenge of consistency, especially if you've been working with someone for a long period of time? Because sometimes it can get quite tiring and fatiguing. So how do you ensure that you're consistent with working with your mentee?
I got your question, Cecilia. I can take a third one so that I can answer 3, if there's any.
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, my question is, what is the maximum sessions you should go with a person before you realize there is a change, and when is the right time to refer? Hi, did you hear me?
Yes, yes, very clearly. You are very clear.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, I am going to try and respond to the 3 questions. The first one by Angela, the other one by Cecilia, and the third one, I didn't get the name. I think the name is not recorded for the third person. The question by Angela is the difference between mentoring and coaching. It has been very hard to differentiate between the two because they tend to want to override or to ride on the other one. You, however, realize that mentoring is very broad. And so in mentorship is it's where you seek to look at, to empower the person in a holistic way. So you look at the all of the person. And mentoring is it's where you work with the person for a certain period of time, and the participation by the mentee is very key, so that you are empowering, you are helping the mentee discover their own potential as a mentor. Now, in coaching, it is very specific. Specific that as a coach, you know that you are aiming at helping that person in a certain skill, or to solve a certain solution that that person is having. And once it's done, then possibly that's the end of it. And maybe one of the, you've had a football coach or a financial coach or a business coach, someone who will come and help you address a specific line of problem. And then after that, then they are done. For a mentor, they help you to address all issues that are surrounding a mentee. What will happen is that as a mentor, you may not be able to solve all the problems, but you know where to direct your mentee for help. So it's more holistic as compared to coaching. And also the mentee is more involved and participating in the process than in coaching. I could share more of the difference. I think if I had the time, or I'm sure I could check with Kariuk whether there's a session differentiating between the different two, because there's usually between the coaching, mentoring, training, advice, and even consultancy, all that. I hope I have, but someone else can share in writing. I can see the text are doing very well. So if anyone wants to do something else, they can write down on the text. Then Cecilia was asked, how do you deal with the challenge of consistency, especially if you have been with someone for too long? The reason why mentorship needs to be time-bound is to avoid where you get used to one another. So it's especially important that even when you may have someone for a lifetime as a mentor, that you also get to agree what are the objectives that you have in place and that you want to accomplish between the two of you for this mentoring relationship to be said to be helpful, because a mentoring relationship needs to be helpful. And so if it is helpful, the challenge of consistency can be overcome by having a plan or having a structure where you say, we are in this relationship to accomplish this, and this is how we are going to accomplish it. And so this is when you talk about a mentoring guide. This is when you talk about a mentoring structure. This is where sometimes it fits within a program that helps you to know these are the sessions you cover. However, and this is my own experience, even after the program has ended and you have had a structure of mentoring, you can find yourself still continuing with the relationship, because it's very hard to cut a mentor relationship. I said that one of the benefits is that there's long-term relationship. And so when you continue in that way, you will not necessarily be obliged to those very regular meetings. But you can say, since now our milestone 1 has been accomplished, now we'll be checking, or I'll be checking on you once every month. And when we meet that once every month, this is what I want to discuss, or this is what we need to discuss together. So once you've already said what needs to be discussed, then it stops being just a casual thing, because you don't just want it to be a casual meeting if it is a mentoring relationship, but it is the mentor who did that. So you as a mentor need then to discuss with the mentee and to initiate that discussion where you are asking and dealing with the mentee, why then are we continuing to meet? What do we intend to accomplish and to achieve in this relationship? Hope I have helped you, Cecilia. If not, you text. Now, where's the maximum number of sessions by my brother there? This, I would be, I'm not sure I can be able to give the number of sessions. I have done mentoring programs that have had all kinds of sessions, some 10 sessions, some 6 sessions, some 12 sessions, 1 day here, and so forth. And so I may not, it would all depend on what you want to accomplish. So once it's clear what you want to accomplish, then you will be able to discuss with the mentee if it is with a dynamic program. A dynamic program, I mean, if it is organized by a certain organization. For example, if Elnet organizes a mentoring program and they take you up as a mentor, they'll be able to tell you that our program, we give you a mentee and you're supposed to mentor this person or to have mentoring sessions with this mentee once every month for 6 months, for example. And this is what you're supposed to accomplish by the end of those 6 months. That is a planned or a structured, organized program. Now, if it is in your own initiative as a mentor, where you pick a person and you want to mentor them, you would also still need to sit down and say, what is our objective? And there's a tool, I know, personally, I know a tool that I use and that other people use that can help to structure that. However, I'm also Elnet has one where they can be able to help you to structure your mentoring program sessions so that you know by the end of 6 or 10 sessions, we have covered what we wanted to cover. And it's better, it's very good. Oh, I can see now it's Kejeku. It's very good, Kejeku, that you get into a mentoring relationship knowing how many times or how many sessions you will have with your mentee. So that's not just ad hoc meetings or just to meet for a cup of tea or to have a chat, but it is very organized and very structured. So that is what I would say about the number of sessions. There is no specific number that I can say this can be. They can be determined by the objective or by what you want to accomplish in a relationship. I hope that helps, Kejeku, and if not, you can text and someone else can still add. You can still later text or raise your hand and add to that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mary, for that feedback. Actually, today I have learned a lot. But I really want to end the session because of time. But what we can do, if you really want to ask a question, maybe you can remain behind after we pray, and perhaps Mary can respond to our question. We have really exceeded the time, so we need to end. Allow me to finish to do the closing prayer. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I could pray. Lord, we want to just thank you for the wonderful session that you have given us, Mary, this evening. Wow, Lord, our minds have been enlightened, and we really want to thank you. Thank you for her family. Thank you especially even for the child who is celebrating their birthday today. We pray that they'll continue to grow in wisdom and in love, not only by you, God, but by men. Lord, for the rest of us, as we pass to become better mentors, we pray that, Lord, would you help us where we have not met these qualities, Lord. We pray that you may keep growing us, keep challenging us to be better. Keep challenging us, Lord, to live our lives in a godly way and not to depend on our own strength, but on you, God. We worship you and we honor you. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Yeah.
Amen.
Is there another question, or right now I have released the people? But if you still have a question, maybe you can ask one question. If not, maybe you can write to me the question, or I can connect you with the speaker today. Yeah.
Yeah, not really a question, but Mary said she does articles daily. Maybe she can give us her website so that we follow her website and learn from her articles.
I can give you the website. Let me just get you the website.
Yes.
I can actually I can text it here. I have sent the website. However, I can also give you the, let me see, I can send you the, yes, I'll send a link to the blog where I usually post the article. That's the general website. I can send you the link to the blog. That's fine.
Okay, please.
Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure having you, and I'm so happy to have met a number of. I could, if you want to get in touch with me, you can. Kariuki can give you my contacts, and feel free to contact me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mary, you're an amazing teacher. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you. I truly appreciate it. It was a great time with you people.
You too.